What sorcery is this? Shadows that do not retreat under the light? A fixed impression of the sun upon the beings below. As the wizard climbs ever up the ladder of knowledge, they wrestle the shadows cast by snakes unseen. Greetings, Chromatic Warriors. I've been working my way through drop shadows. It seems to be the new hotness, or at least it's brand new to me. And as I teach myself, I want to share how I am approaching my own learning and interpretation of drop shadows. Learn through observation. We've all seen drop shadows occurring around us, and this technique uses those visual snapshots. The challenge is maintaining a fixed light as you rotate the model and paint it. But it is not impossible, or you wouldn't see it. Feeding your imagination is where it starts. Take a more engaging look around you, and take note as well. Take everything. I would also suggest more controlled studies under varying light sources. If you're having fun, or at least getting curious, proceed. During a paint jam in the not too distant past, I joined forces with Kyle, known as Pale King Hobby, and Raven, Gravenly Studios, to paint some busts. It was the Apollyon bust from the Innu Kingdoms line. It was a simplistic enough bust, so I thought, why not add some drop shadows? And after experimenting with this in a major way, I found that it was easier to find where the shadows were after applying the more prominent shadows. The horns and under the chin were a sure thing, and the nose made sense as well. After then, less prominent shadows came to mind. I found room for closer shadows in the breast area. This also led me to putting some focus on the subtle midtones. This picture is taken under an even light. The difference between the shadows on the side of her head and the forehead are a good example of that. A big thank you to Innu Kingdoms for sending those models along. Enter the Hobbit, and I'm glad that you asked. It is the same Hobbit that was a stretch goal in the recent Kickstarter campaign for the Art of series, featuring volumes from Roman Lapat, myself, and Joshua Lai. Check it out. And I guess by check it out, I mean orders are being fulfilled right now, and soon it will be for sale through Ironheart Artisans. I'll have a link below. Like or subscribe, never both, just pick one. I called this done at one point, but as they say, a true piece of artwork is never completed, it is only abandoned. So, I have a canvas to add to. I would recommend focusing on a bust when you're first figuring out drop shadows. They're large, allowing for space to work, and also don't have much of a body and no base to worry about. Now, it's not exactly about the colors that I used, it's about the output, but colors used in this combination: Imperial Navy, Deep Ocean Blue, Auger Blue, Jasper Skin, Opal Skin, Dragon Red, Leather Brown, Desert Yellow, Scarab Green, Space Dust, Black, and White. Now I'd like to take you to the desktop view for some in-depth dissection of how I'm approaching drop shadows. We'll start with one of the simple pieces. You can see how I've already traced in the shadow on the shirt using Leather Brown. So logically, have a little bit of the shadow cast over onto the blue overcoat. Just trying to keep that proportional. And I'm using diluted paint as well because I want to carry some of these values that I've already worked into play. You know, the idea is that I can filter over them with a very gentle tint. Fingers crossed. Some areas may end up a little heavier. I think I'll have to rework some of these tan shadows, but the blue one sat in there very nicely. And yeah, another thing I'm learning, well, it just kind of went like this. After finding those major shadows, like the one I just traced in, you start to see room for some of these more minor shadows, some of these items that are a little bit closer to the surface, but would still have this kind of fingernail width of a shadow being cast. After I painted the shadow underneath the kerchief, then I could see room for a small drop shadow right along the ridge of the cape, right along this little edge. Seeing is believing. Instinctively, you may think, okay, shadow, maximum depth, but just go about it very gradually. I don't want to weigh the model down too much. You see, even a shadow can have a certain lightness to it. And another thing to consider, you always have the option of going colder as well as darker. So I've mixed some brown, black, and Imperial Navy together to create the shadow across this leather. You have the option, there's no wrong choices, but I want you to make informed decisions. In this case, I'm liking the additional depth that touch of coldness adds. And again, this is that cliffhanging exercise that comes into play. Once I've traced this edge, I can see the shadow coming together more clearly. It's very touch and go. But yeah, obviously it's going to cross over this leather strap as well. Woo! Having some fun on the clothing. Good drop shadow goes unnoticed. So, behold the subtleties. I'd like to carve one in on the forehead as well. And this is where I'm kind of breaking the rules as I was moving my light around, finding the shadows, seeing what I liked. I just couldn't get the shadow to hang over his forehead in the way that I wanted it to. Maybe I was holding the light a little too closely, but yeah, I just want to trace around his dangling curls, around these bangs, with a little bit of jasper skin. I'll start finding my way on the other side of the face. I remember there was a noticeable drop-off as well. It's kind of a triangular shaped highlight. And everything else is falling into the shadow. And I could always mix some blue and red into these shadows. I may want to match the variation. This isn't making that much of an impact, but I'm finding my way. I've added just the smallest amount of Imperial Navy and Dragon Red in with that jasper skin. There we go. Makes a nice match with the shadows around it without being too crazy. Let's tighten this up a little bit. And just kind of sweep, just glazing to bond it to the area around it. Maybe I don't have to mix up any other colors if I just make this one belong by blending a little bit more into place. All right, looking at it from face forward, just kind of resetting my vision. That's another challenge. I'm rotating the model around in my hands, trying to find, pull the best line. And you may lose track of exactly the shape of the shadow. But with everything, it's just this kind of slow, sort of ponderous pursuit. I had some ideas for the major shadows, and I'm finding these more subtle shadows coming into play. I hope this is helping to inform you as I'm finding my way. Let's also take some of that shadow, sweep it onto the temple, just right on the side of the model's face. This is something that I want to see in my own work. Even a drop shadow can have a gradient, just like even an edge highlight can have a gradient, right? Just add this shadow to some of the other areas around it. Even these soft shadings can include this color, so everything homogenizes. I'll take some opal skin, just kind of blend that into place, making this boundary even stronger. And let's have some of that present on the other cheek as well, just so the little line is a little more noticeable. And a little bit of jasper skin, just in glaze-like consistencies. I don't want to lose anything, especially these freckles that I painted on last time when I thought it was done. All about the softness. You may not see these shades turning up right away, but again, you don't want the shadow to be too heavy. It shouldn't go to absolute black. The same way that you're trying to control the value of every other surface. Yes, nice and soft shadows. Back up to Jasper Skin. Just combine that with my mixture. Okay, I think my mission has become clear. I have more shadows to add. Scarab green in the case of the concealment cloak. And I have a little bit of uniform gray combined with leather brown. Use that to get a nice distinct shadow on the marmot's chin. But yeah, just a lot of carving and cliffhanging similar to the previous steps on the face and the belt. Another challenge to drop shadows is that usually the interpretation of shadow is a reduction, right? I have to do a little bit less highlights creates a darker area. Yeah, and that works in most of these surfaces, but sometimes things get a little more detailed inside of the shadow, and yeah, it just comes down to value control again. As I was highlighting the collar of this shirt, I see it like so. This edge, we know edges catch more light, so even in the shadow, it's going to be a little brighter. And additionally, I'll throw a little bit of white in with prairie ochre is that color in this case. Just carry that highlight over across the shadow a little bit. And it drops down in value slightly. Let's hit this finally with just the smallest notch of white. Very nice. And yeah, now that I have white on my brush, I'm going to highlight around next to some of these shadows. But yeah, I'm having to tune up some of the highlights in the shaded areas. In conclusion, after applying this to a couple of busts, I'm now gaining my confidence. I'd like to see how I can fit this onto an entire figure. As always, when the achievement is unlocked, you raise the difficulty. I had this model from Mindwork Games in mind. And lastly, I'd like to say that this may seem intimidating, but I must remind you again, it is not impossible. Seeing is believing. And any other artist out there that you think you can just not possibly ever touch their skill level, they're only human. Practice is what it takes to get there. Thank you for watching this video. Please let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. I'm always happy to hear from you. And until we meet again, my friends, I'd like to see some drop shadows. Also, remain unchained.